All right, guys, we are back so soon, and there's a good reason for it. As you guys know, I rarely do, videos kind of back to back like this, especially not 2 in 18 hours. Because I like to just do videos when Forex gets good updates. Of course, yesterday I did a quick video showing the Telegram message that he put out, giving a bunch of details. I don't think it came out and publicly spoke, so those were just a good refresher for what we're going to hear about Thursday, because there's going to be an announcement and what's going on next week. So watch that video first if you haven't. It's a short one, it's like 8 or 10 minutes, and then come back and watch this one. The reason I'm jumping on and doing another one is because it got a little wild last night. They basically did a live AMA in the DGens Telegram group. What they called it was Forex versus Bank Teller. And of course, there was a bunch of people on and they were rattling back and forth. And the main point of the discussion was elephant money. What happened with elephant money? Obviously, if you guys don't know, that's Bank Teller's project. The project was exploited yesterday. TVL dropped by like 200 or 300 million, and $11 million was stolen from the protocol. 11 and a half, something like that. So this hacker utilized the code that was already in place, utilized the contract as it was built to drain the money. So he technically didn't do anything illegal. He was just able to manipulate the system and drain the money. And the rumor is that the exploit that he exploited, Forex had called out months before and apparently told his inner circle, hey, I wouldn't invest in this because there is this exploit. I don't think he was intentionally trying to cause FUD with the project, but it just wasn't for him at that time. So what it sounds like is that is the item that was actually exploited. So it kind of makes it seem like in this case that Bank Teller is a bit of a lazy dev when it comes to that. Like, he should have addressed it. And who knows what it was. Maybe he didn't think it applied to him. Maybe he intended to fix it, never got around to it. Maybe he made some updates, but it wasn't enough. I really don't know. I'm not technically savvy enough to know all the ins and outs on that, but elephant money just got absolutely crushed. It's getting a little bit of a bounce back right now, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. That live AMA was pretty wild. So Forex and Bank Teller went back and forth several times. Some of it was cordial, and sometimes they were taking shots at one another. I will say that even though I'm a little bit biased, I will say that Forex clearly had the better answers to the questions that were being asked. And of course, he has the benefit that his projects, for the most part, are all going really well. Right? Elephant Money lost $11 million that was stolen from the protocol. Even though Animal Farm is paused, it was paused intentionally. Basically, Forex said that he built something in the system that was kind of a security mechanism that would take effect if something was being exploited to protect the capital. So he's saying that the security parameters that he built into his contract actually force locked the contracts, therefore protecting the investor capital. So I'm super excited that he was thinking ahead on that, because we obviously don't want to see our investor friends and ourselves lose a bunch of money in these projects. DeFi is just a nasty space to be in most of the time. 80% of projects are absolute garbage, and so it's a tough space to be in. So like I was saying, the main point of this was really for Bank Teller to come on and answer a bunch of questions about what was happening, try to make investors feel confident that he was going to find a way to fix it. He said several times that all the issues were going to be solved, everything would be back up and running and functioning by Friday, and that everybody was lucky to be able to get back in at these prices. I am not getting in. After what I heard from Bank Teller tonight, I mean, I think he's doing the best he can, but I'm not confident in him as a developer. So I'm personally just going to set this one out. I don't need to jump in every project that's out there. I get a lot of DMs and questions about, hey, what do you think about this project or that project or this project? I don't have time to look into all of them. I look into the ones that I find interest in and that's piqued my interest. I will fully admit that I had a little bit of FOMO when I saw Elephant Money just skyrocketing, but again, I'm glad I did not get into that one. So even though prices are super low and it looks like people are coming back in and buying, and Bank Teller said that he's basically fixed the issues, they've closed those loopholes, and they're going to take some additional steps to make sure it doesn't happen in the future, this one's just not for me. So the reason I'm making a video on it is because even though Forex didn't actually come out and do an AMA yesterday, he just posted that tweet. He did the AMA with Bank Teller, which was just as good as him doing one for Drip, because a bunch of issues got brought up with Drip. He was asked a bunch of questions, I mean, back and forth, and he answered them all pretty well. And I think that might be why we're seeing a little pop in the price right now. But I will say that one thing I found super interesting, because if you've seen my videos, I've got one, I forget what it's called, something like Drip needs to do this to survive. In that video, I was just critical of some of the parts of Drip that could get better. Obviously, love Forex, great developer, but there's some things that could be better. And so I called those out in that. Someone made a reference to that, to my same issues, to my same concerns in the AMA last night. And they basically called out Forex and said, hey, love your projects, love this, love that. why have you not invested in, right? You got new developers on. You just brought a new developer on. You're doing all these different things to make sure that everything's working correctly, which is good. Why, since your project is going to be a Charles Schwab-like project, and you want to be taken seriously in that type of a financial perspective and through that type of lens, why have you not hired a good PR team or frontman to come out and do this? He said you've got Ray with Bartertown Conglomerate out there basically being the mouthpiece for Drip, and that's fine, but when are you going to hire someone that's really just like the perfect front man, PR team to go out and do all this marketing and really just be the face of Drip? So my issue with Forex's answer is he kind of sidestepped it a little bit. He looped it around. He answered most of the question, but not all of it. And maybe it's just because, Ray's his friend, so he doesn't want to make it seem like there needs to be improvement there. But he did mention a few things on that. One of them was they brought on a marketer for the scratchers, right? Scratcher program's totally done, he said, and they're just waiting to launch it. And it sounds like the next thing that they will launch, the next deal that will be big for Drip, will be the scratchers. So I'm assuming pretty much right after Animal Farm goes live again, scratchers will drop, and then he'll do the rest of the stuff after that. But he basically said that that's the next thing. But he said they brought on some marketers specifically for that they trust, and they've been doing all the marketing for the scratchers. But he said that he thinks that those marketers will actually stay on to continue marketing in other categories because I think he likes them, trusts them. He says he's extremely hesitant to hire PR people or someone because they're just not trustworthy. So much trust has to be there in the space. He's basically said, hey, if I hire somebody and they're really good for a while and I let them throw out a tweet on Twitter that just says, hey, we're doing a flash fundraise or whatever, here's a wallet address, investors could get scammed for a few $1 million with just one tweet. And so he's right about that. He will need, in my opinion, to find trustworthy people or find a way to protect himself, because I think Drip does need a new face to handle all the PR stuff. And I think when they get that person, when they find that person, whoever this trustworthy person is, I think Drip is going to massively benefit from that. Just having somebody on a few times a week where you can see their face, that's really charismatic and knows the project well, can answer the questions. If they don't know the answers, they can go back to Forex and get them. Forex can go do his thing, which is developing, and he likes to do some of the marketing himself. He says there's a few things he likes to do, but he could focus on those, and he can put out his Telegram messages that everybody gets pumped about. And then once every couple weeks or whatever, he can get on and be with his PR person on those AMAs and just answer all the questions. But I think that's going to be huge. So even though he sidestepped that question a little bit, he did answer most of it. They are doing more marketing. They did bring on an extra dev to help with quality control. Scratchers are done. UI's done. Animal Farm's basically done. So Thursday we'll hear what date that releases. So those things are obviously very bullish. But I just think anyone who actually listened to the AMA last night probably has a little more confidence in Forex, that he's fixing things, that he's thought through some of these issues. He is taking responsibility for the stuff he could have done better. He said that a few times. This could have been done better. This could have been done better. So I like that. I didn't hear that as much from Bank Teller. Bank Teller's probably having a rough time right now. I don't think he rug pulled his own project. I think he was exploited. He made a lot of statements about people should, feel lucky that they can get in on these prices and a few other things. And there was a handful of people on the AMA that said, hey, I bought $7,000 worth at, 26 or whatever. I've lost a ton of money. And he didn't really have an answer for those. And there wasn't a lot of like, hey, I'm sorry, I messed up. This was exploited because of, whatever. I don't know. He didn't have a lot of humility from that standpoint. That always worries me a little bit when people don't take direct responsibility. So it felt good. On the other side, I feel for Bank Teller. I feel for everybody that was in elephant money. But on the other side of the coin, it made me feel even more confident in Forex because he took responsibility for the issues, said he could have done some things better, called out all the things he's been doing in the meantime, and really just set the project up for success. So we're seeing a pop right now in the price. I think it's probably because people are just getting this. That was done late last night. So right now we're at 36.35, and as you can see, it's just climbing up. We hit last night a low of about 32. So that's a pretty decent pop. What is that? 12, 13, 14%. So that makes me happy. I think people are feeling pretty confident in the project. Plus, all the news is starting to get out. Investors, a lot of us investors on this side, right? There's 100,000 of us in Drip. we're getting a lot of our information from Telegram and YouTube and everything. So once that information happens, it moves a little bit slower than normal financial markets because it's not blasted all over the news and there's not as many people involved. But once that information finally gets disseminated out to the people through YouTube or whatever, it takes a couple days for people to get on board with that and get excited about the new announcement that just came out and get that information. So anyway, I think it's cool. I think we're very lucky to have Forex as the developer of this project, and I couldn't be more bullish right now. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. I'm like a couple shy of 1,000 subs, and that would be awesome to hit that today if we could. I appreciate everyone who comments and everything. I know that you take time out of your day to watch all these videos, especially if you're gonna watch them all the way to the end. So thank you. Please like and subscribe. And as always, of course, I will post my link down below. Not financial advice, but this is just for educational purposes and for your entertainment. But I think it's just a great time to get into drip. Personally, I'm gonna buy some more at these price levels because I think drip's about gonna take off. But that's just me. Do whatever works for you and what works with your financial situation. Only use risk capital. But I think now might be the perfect time to get in before everything takes off. Anyway, hope you enjoyed today's video. Happy investing.